So bitches and niggas, welcome back again to another video. Today's gonna be a bit of a fun one. I'm doing a steroid tier list, and just keep in mind I've only taken 4 steroids. But I put pretty much every steroid you can name. Most of them you can name, most the mainstream ones, I guess. So just keep in mind that the ones I haven't taken, take the information I'm telling you with a grain of salt. Some of it will be like factual information I've learned, but I have no firsthand experience, so I don't have like super valid information. I'm just giving you the known facts about it and what I personally think of it. And if I would run it or not, blah 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 and blah blah. Again, I've only taken 4 steroids. I'll tell you which ones I've taken and not taken. So let's just get into it. This should be pretty fun. Um, let's put me in corner. Okay, first we got Anavar. I'm gonna have to put Anavar. I'll put Anavar in B. I've taken Anavar. I only took it for like maybe like a month and a half, 2 months. It was pretty. I was very vascular. I got some strength and really good pumps because you take a pre workout, you take it every day. And I took 50 milligrams. First time I ever taken Anavar, I took 50 milligrams, and that's low key a decent amount to first start. So I got pretty crazy pumps. I was in like kind of a lean bulk phase. This was back in like it was from September to like end of October ish, so like about 2 months, and I was in a bit of a lean bulk phase. It helped me like put on a little bit of size. I didn't put on crazy size in this because I wasn't lean bulking for too long, but I was having ton of carbs. As you guys know, our Anavar is really you can deploy it in both ways, cutting or bulking. It's better cutting because you get really vascular. You can get really dry with Anavar, but again, it's still like not like that crazy. And you can also deploy in the bulking and help you put on some size and get some strength, and obviously it helps with pumps. But I'll put it at B tier. I would run it again. It's out of all the orals, it's not super liver toxic. You can still take a shit fucking punch your I'm sorry. You can still fuck up your liver enzymes fairly well. It can take a toll on that. So just have something on hand, have some tudka or something on hand, and just obviously get your blood work regardless, because people can be more susceptible to they can have more sensitive livers basically, and when you take orals, it's processed through the liver. Whether it's something like Anavar or Superdrol, like it's gonna touch your liver in some way, shape, or form. So I'll put it in B. The Anavar is like the only oral I'd ever run again, or just ever. I don't really want to run any other orals just because the other orals are pretty fucking toxic. And speaking of orals, we're starting off with orals. Next, Halo testing. I've never taken, never will take Halo testing. Um, I'll probably put this in D just because I mean you can't run it more than 3 weeks because it is it is super HEPA toxic, super liver toxic. Like you will get liver failure so quick if you run it for more than 3 or 4 weeks. And most people, it's either used in the powerlifting context, a few weeks up to a show, because it just gives you insane strength and rage. Because when you think of roid rage, you think of Tren and Halo. Roid rage originally stemmed from Halo because you're just always angry, always mad, which is why it's great for powerlifting. It gives you excess strength and just straight rage. It's also used in a bodybuilding context the last few weeks before a show, kind of like Tren. It can dry you out and give you that, dense, dry, vascular look. So that it can also be used in that sense. So benefits wise, it's pretty solid, but just I mean, dude, you're only deploying it for 3 weeks, and especially if you have like a sensitive liver, dude, even in 3 weeks it can fuck your shit up. So like the cons wise, kind of outweighs the cons. So I wouldn't run Halo testing, like no, just no way. Next is Winstrol. I'm gonna have to put Winstrol. I have not run Winstrol either, so I low key. It's a tough one because I know Winstrol is DHC derivative. It's very similar to Masteron. It's just an oral. So I'd low key have to put it in C because I feel like if you, it's also fairly hepatotoxic. That can really fuck with your liver too, and it's very similar to Masteron. I believe it dries you out a bit more. So again, it's used in the Masteron context or just like a Masteron trend context in the cutting phase, especially leading up to the show to get that water off your frame. Um, Not really used in the bulk, I believe. So, but again, I feel like you'd just be better off running Master on to just bypass the liver bullshit because you can get the very similar benefits. But again, I think Winstrol might dry you out a bit more. And again, you get all the DHT side effects and benefits. More drive, crushes your SHBG, I believe. So does Proviron, but Proviron's not even on here. But yeah, the liver toxicity, especially if you're susceptible to that shit, it's not ideal. You're just better off running mass run, in my honest opinion. So yeah, that's C tier. What is this? Is this Primo? Okay, Primo. Never taken Primo either, but I'm just gonna have to put it in S tier just because it's basically side free for the most part. The only okay, so benefits wise, it's S easily because again, from my knowledge, I haven't taken it. From my knowledge, it's fairly side free, but again, it's a mild with it being side free, it's a more mild steroid, so you have to run it for longer. Most people run it year round because it's so side effect free. Also, meaning that you kind of have to up the dose a little bit, and when you run higher doses, then you can run into more androgenistic sides because it's a DHT derivative, so such as hair loss and shit. So if you when you run a higher dose, you get androgen sides, but like actual like side effects, like it's really not that crazy. Really, you should be fine. Obviously with blood work, but I'll have to put it right currently, probably right now at B, just because it's extremely fucking expensive. Like I said, the minimum you run to start is like 400 milligrams or some shit, and like at least my source, the highest like milligram per milliliter is 175 milligrams. And if you're gonna run 400, you're gonna run through that vial in like fucking a couple weeks, and obviously you're gonna run it for a longer period of time, and so it's pretty fucking expensive per vial. So you're gonna be fucking spending an arm and leg just to get this shit for a typical primo cycle, and it's also widely faked right now. There's a shortage, I guess. So if you if you don't have a trusted source, don't even fucking bother getting primo. Because if you are gonna buy primo and you really know nothing about the source, it's good chance it's just gonna be equipoise. It's widely faked as equipoise, and equipoise is a good stereotype. We'll get into that, but like if you wouldn't want to be running equipoise blindly compared to primo. In some cases, some people just put it with trend too. Like they literally just like get a primo bowling fucking sticker or whatever, the banner, whatever the fuck, and just stick it on like a vial of Tren or a vial of Equipoise. Obviously, with a vial of Tren, it's probably way harder to do that because Tren is like yellow, it's piss yellow. So you probably couldn't get away with that, but who knows? Some people still do it. So due to those cons, it's B. But I mean, overall, benefits wise, it's S. And honestly, if it wasn't faked right now, it'd probably still be an S, even though it's expensive because you pay what you pay for it. What is next? To test. Oh, okay, yeah, easy, easy. I take tests. I've taken tests. Easy S. Oh, sorry. Easy S. Just even from like a non bodybuilding context, if you just have shitty hormones, taking TRT can literally change your life. And there's so many myths about it, like oh fucking, you're gonna go infertile, you're gonna die, blah blah. Like it's like your balls are gonna shrink. You can never produce testosterone all over again. So like first of all, with the whole testosterone production, if you do want a PCT with like Novadex and clomiphene, you can't produce your own testosterone again. You're just gonna go down to your baseline levels naturally, whatever they were naturally before hopping on test. So, if you had super low tests before hopping on test, you just want to do one 300 milligram test cycle and PCT off. You're gonna go back down to 300 nanogram per deciliter test and be depressed again and feel like shit again. You're not gonna you're never you sure you can produce your own test again, so you can do it in the natural way and try to get it up as much as you can for sure. But just no, I just kind of feel like PCT is a waste of time. If you want to just cruise or just do a TRT for life, it's worth it, dude. Especially if you feel good. And I'm not saying you gotta do 300 milligrams for TRT, dude. Like, dude, you can. I do 120 tests, bro. Most of the time, like you hear it a lot nowadays. Lowest, most effective dose with anything, especially tests. You really don't need that much test just to feel good. Like if you get your test just in range, at least above like right at 1,000, get your free test in range, bro. You're gonna be chilling. And again, once you figure out your estrogen bullshit in that element, that's a pain in the ass. I didn't get blood work for like a year and a half until I finally got blood work and really figured it out. Once I actually bought blood work, figured everything out, I feel way better. And then just blindly running tests. Sure, even if you blindly run it, you probably feel better, but still, it's not worth it. Even the health side, you can still be susceptible to it fucking up your lipids, especially if you're running a higher dose. But overall, test is easily an S tier, especially nowadays. Like, it's our they're targeting our natural test levels. Like it's really hard to maintain steady testosterone levels nowadays. I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying you can't, but it's really hard. And so a lot of people are resorting to TRT, and it's so a lot of the time it's worth it. And people want to bash it. People have so many misconceptions about it. In really reality, if you run it the optimal way, you can live a long, normal life. If anything, a longer life than living the way people live now. So that's my view on it. I will never. I'm gonna run testosterone until the day I die. Anyways, and infertility. That's another myth. You only go infertile in two cases if you naturally just have like super low sperm count, or if you're just naturally infertile. Like, but that's super rare. And then you hop on tests and you can speed it up. But also, if you run tests, especially just other compounds, other suppressive compounds at higher ages, you're cycling for years on end without any type of PCT or any, running things like HCG to like mimic to tell the LH to get back into functioning to really start producing your own shit again, producing sperm again, then that's when you can go infertile when you go years on end without signaling. But if you run ACG, something like ACG, throughout like a few months throughout the year, you're literally gonna be fine, and as long as you're not like genetically prone to super low sperm count, so it wouldn't hurt getting a sperm test done. But again, that's really fucking rare. But again, that's my knowledge on it. Again, I've been taking tests for almost 3 years. That's my view on it. Sorry. What's next? Dude, okay, it's not loading. I'm sorry, my computer sucks. What's next? EQ. I've never taken EQ. EQ probably with my knowledge on it, low key, I'll put it in B. EQ again, it's very similar to Primo. It takes a long time to like fully kick in and fully saturate in your blood. And people say it can take anywhere from like 6 to 10 weeks. Like people run EQ for like 6 months just because it takes so long to kick in. But it's more of an off-season compound because um what's it called? It's meant for horses. It's like Tren is meant for horses. So it meant specifically race horses because well no, Tren's meant for cows. I may be tripping, but yeah, equipoise is meant for horses to really boost your endurance and boost the red blood cell count. So when you take equipoise and it's saturates in your system, you're gonna get insane endurance when you get high red blood cell count. But that can also meet the thick blood high. I can't pronounce it. Hemocrat. I can't pronounce it, but you guys, for the dudes who know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean. You can get thick blood, but you can obviously take supplements to bypass that, and also just do your cardio and hydrate to bypass that as well on top of the supplements. Most people get thick blood because some may be just genetically prone to thick blood, and also they just don't hydrate or do their fucking cardio. As long as you drink a little over a gallon a day, you realistically you're gonna be fine. But again, this is just take it with a grain of salt. I've never taken equipoise, but I will in the future. And the biggest reason, especially why it's so popular nowadays, because it acts as a very strong AI. So yeah, as you guys know, AIs, Aromas and Arimidex are fairly neurotoxic. So over time, it can fuck with your head, and it's just overall it bypasses your liver too. So it's not that it processes through the liver because it's an oral still, so it can still fuck with. It's just not healthy. So a lot of people take equipoise simply because the AI effect. And with the AI effect, I believe it kicks in a lot quicker than all the other benefits, like increased nitrogen retention, all that stuff. The actual like muscle building benefits of equipoise, I believe the AI kicks in within like a couple weeks, which is great. And that's why people like running in the off season because like they want to run their test higher without having high E2. So they do like everyone's different, but I believe they would be like something like 500 tests, 300 EQ, like some ratio like that. But everyone's different. Some people run it 1 to 1. It's stronger in some people. So it's a little less stronger than other people. Like I don't know, but again, I haven't run it, but I definitely plan on running it because when I do want to like increase my test dose, especially if I'm trying to put on a little bit of size, I'd rather not take an AI and kind of fuck with the AI dose. I'd rather just kind of get my blood work, figure out my equipoise dose, and just equipoise is really strong too, so you definitely have to get blood work with it because it can easily crush your estrogen, especially if you react really well to it on the AI sense of it. It can literally tank your estrogen to like fucking. I knew a dude it tanked his estrogen to like fucking 10, bro, and he felt like fucking shit. But his test was high as fuck, but he felt like shit. But yeah, so I definitely would want to consider equipoise, but I just put it in B just because I've never run it. I don't have first hand experience, and honestly, fuck it, dude. And gains wise is nothing. I don't think it's anything super crazy. It can definitely help with gains, especially with the overall endurance effect. You can just go harder in the gym. That increased nitrogen retention, I believe. So it definitely just helps with overall muscle building, but it's not super crazy. It's not nothing like fucking like Tren or even NPP or Nandrolone, like right. But I'll keep being B for now. But again, when I run it. We'll reevaluate when I incorporate more compounds in the future. But what's next? Oh, Dro Standalone, aka Masteron. As you guys know, I'm running Masteron right now. So run test, obviously run the test, run Anavar, and now Masteron. And this is my fourth pin or fifth. I started last Friday. Today's Tuesday. So I just started, but I definitely it's propionate. So as you guys know, prop esters are much more fast acting. They can hit your bloodstream a lot quicker. You can feel like more mental effects a lot quicker. is to go, you guys go master on the most DHC derivatives, bind to your SHBG, and crush your SHBG, in turn freeing up more free tests. And when you have higher free test, you're more high test. You could have super
Shopping for
high.
your next car?
Jesus.
What
Sorry. And when you guys know, if you have like a super high total test, but your free test is low as fuck, you're still gonna feel like shit. Like most of the time, that number doesn't really mean shit. You just want to get like the correct ratios on get an idea of overall what you have for like free test and estrogen with your total test. But free test is a real number. If you have high free test, bro, you're gonna be chilling. Like some people can have like 600 nanograms per deciliter test, but if their free test is through the roof and close to even their their total test, they're gonna feel like insane. They're gonna feel like they're on trend low key. But anyways, that was a joke. But Master on so far, I'll put it in right now. I'll put it in B, just because I haven't gotten the actual cosmetic effects out. As you guys know, a lot of people take Masteron before shows, and even on the bulk just to stay dry. People say it's not anabolic, but I believe it's fairly anabolic, and still it can still help build muscle. Pretty much all compounds are somewhat anabolic in some ways, shape, or form. Some are just more anabolic than others, and Masteron is like one of the lesser anabolic steroids, but they can still build muscle. But obviously, it's more known for like people taking it up to shows or just like in the cutting phase just to get that dryness, because androgen and istic compounds just give you that hardening look. It just takes water out of your fucking body and just give you that crazy dry look. And some people run mass right, they can get very similar effects to Tren when it comes to like the dryness, because you just get stripped of all the water retention. Again, that's yet to happen to me. It's been like 5 fucking days. I'm like, I gotta be at least I'm probably like 10% body fat. So as you guys know, like
shopping for your next car?
straight up.
What about a sunroof?
I'm sorry, I don't know why it keeps happening, but I'm like at least like I'm like at most 10% body fat. If you guys haven't heard, like running mass, if you're above like 15% body fat, is kind of pointless because it doesn't directly burn fat. So you got to be already lean to run it. But again, a lot of people run it in a bulking context just to stay dry, especially if you have like a watery compound on top, like Deca or some shit, which can cause some water retention. It can help them stay dry, and especially the DHT derivative. It doesn't aromatize to any estrogen. So Masteron, it's not like Equipoise or even I forgot Primo acts as an AI as well. I forgot to say that, but it doesn't. Masteron is not like Primo when it comes to AI, but it has like a SERM effect, so it doesn't directly lower your estrogen, but it can act as a serum. So if you do have high estrogen, like some people can have like 70 estrogen, but they're running mass and they won't even know because it can mask the high estrogen side effect, which is kind of cool. But I also wish it just lowered it. So because in that case, I just run mass run and run my test higher. But some people, it varies person to person. Some people it actually does lower their estrogen, but I think that varies person to person. But for the most part, it just acts as a serum and just masks any estrogen like side effects, right? So that's Dro standalone, aka Masteron. I'm running it right now. Probably honestly go higher once I really see the full effects, especially the mental effects. Next is that's easy, Trembolone. I have not run Trend, but I have for some reason been considering it recently just to run it, just to say fuck it. Obviously I'd run it like I microdose it. I do like 50 to like 70 milligrams, like super low dose, just to get like the physical benefits and not stay away from like the mainly the mental side effects, and even like the physical side effects, all the high blood pressure, cardiovascular, all that stuff. But thing with trend, even at I believe even at low I'm not sure, again, take it with a grain of salt, and more like moderate doses or higher doses like 200, 300, 400. It's more of like a quick transformation, a quick look, again, an insane, like a super comic superhero look to like hop on stage or do a photo shoot that is temporary. So when you hop off a trend, you're not going to be in that super physiological state again. So you're not like a superhuman state. So your body probably won't be able to maintain all the gains. You may maintain some of it, especially if I feel like if you're at a low dose, you can be able to maintain a decent amount of gains if you're at a lower dose. But if you're running like a moderate to higher dose, then like that's just gonna go away. Because it's like 5 times more androgenistic than testosterone. So it's pretty fucking androgenistic, even though it's a 19 nor as well. So it's in the same category as nandrolone. So it's you can have prolactin related issues. That's why you see people like fucking milking their tits and having gyno on trend because they're just in too high doses of trend. But for my knowledge of it, like fucking like obviously like physique wise and like benefit wise it's S, bro. Like you can literally become Superman in like a few weeks, but obviously like it's not temporary, and like there's so many mental side effects even at low doses. Everyone's different. Even at low doses people can just become insane, super paranoid, insane night sweats. They literally will not sleep, super irritable. They'll fight anyone. So I'll and obviously there's a lot of cardiovascular strain. You literally you can't like do any type of cardio besides walking, especially again at higher doses. If you're running too much, you'll get winded by just walking up the stairs. So it fucks with so many things in trend coughs. Honestly, again, take it with a grain of salt. I've never run trend, might run trend, microdose it. I'll have to put it at D just because there's so many fucking side effects. But from like a physical standpoint, like it's S to like from like the actual benefits you get while on it. But like again, it doesn't last. Majority of the time doesn't last, especially if you're in like a 200 milligram dose, like an intermediate dose that people tell their clients from, whatever. Next, okay, these are basically the same compound. Nandrolone, phenylpropin, nandrolone decanoate. I have run nandrolone decanoate, aka Deca-Durban. So I've run Deca. I've not. So they're the same compound, except Deca has a much longer half life. MPP gets in your system within a few days. Deca can take anywhere from 2, 3, 4 weeks to a few fucking months to fully saturate in your system, and that also means take a 2, 3, 4, multiple months to fully get out of your fucking system. So if you have a fucked up side effect from Deca, from Nandrolone, high blood pressure, you have some fucked up prolactin related side, and you want to either cycle or just straight up drop it, this still gonna you're still gonna be dealing with the side in some way, shape, or form, even if you deal with it for until it gets out of your system. And again, a few weeks to some people, it can stay in your system for like 6 fucking months. Bro. Like it's fucked. So I kicked in my system within a few like 2 or 3 weeks. So for me, it was like quick. But overall, like I could have like I ran 200 milligrams, so that's like a fairly moderate dose for nandrolone. So it wasn't anything crazy, but my diet, I mean, I had a fairly decent diet. I was just eating too much, bro. I was eating like I started at like when I hopped at deck, I was like, I'm just gonna up the calories, bro. I went to 4,000 calories, for me like 1,000 calorie surplus, and then I went to 4,500 calories, then I went to 5,000 calories within like a month time span. I ran it for 2 months, so it's basically got up to 2,000 calorie surplus. So even no matter what steroid you take, but no matter what steroid you take, you're gonna get fat in a massive calorie surplus, like no matter what. Like again, genetically wise, it can help you, it can play in your favor, but even just with nandrolone, especially it's a more watery compound. So you're gonna put on water weight, especially if you're eating way too much fucking food, way too much sodium. I was not doing any type of jug. I don't even know how much water I was getting a day. So I was very I got very bloated, and when I hopped off, I definitely lost some of the joint lubrication, the water retention, so I looked a little flat when I hopped off, and I just had some fluff. I definitely made some gains. Don't get me wrong. I put on like probably like 12 pounds of lean mass overall in a couple months, but again, a lot of it was it was fluffy. I put on a lot of fat. Actually, no, it was more like realistically like 8 pounds of lean mass, like 8 pounds, and then the rest of it was fat. Um, but when it comes to everyone knows joint lubrication is really good for healing your joints and just lubricating your joints, which means you can lift heavy ass fucking weight. I was repping like 25 on deadlifts for like 12, like 10 or 12. It was insane. Like I was bro, I was so like because I was just so watery. When that joint lubrication is kicked in, you have insane pumps. Like the nandrolone pumps are ridiculous. So honestly, especially like I got decently bad gyno. Again, I wasn't even getting blood work when I was on Deca, bro. I was an idiot. So I didn't even know like my prolactin was probably fairly high. Um, and then got decent gyno. But it wasn't anything crazy. Especially with, like my gyno isn't that crazy. Even when I run higher tests, like the gland's there, I feel it. But it's never been like visually crazy, so I've never been too insecure about it. But still, at one point, it was like ugh, it really hurt. But other than that, it wasn't like crazy side effects. I felt a little shitty. I never got Deca Dick either. That happens when your prolactin's too high and your estrogen's too high as well. But I was taking the AI. I was taking like again, I never got blood work. I was taking the AI like twice a week, maybe like twice a week of aromatase because I was running 500 tests on top of it. But I mean, if I were wanted to run it today, obviously I would not run Deca. I'd run MPP again, which is faster acting ester, and you can't get Deca Dick because I don't think there's as much prolactin conversion or something. I forget the exact reason behind it. But you can't get Deca Dick with MPP, and I guess MPP has little. It's not as watery as Deca, so you won't get as crazy water bloat, which is massive. Because if I do want to bulk again, obviously I want to do 1,000 calorie surplus. I do like a 2 or 300 calorie surplus, something super light with some MPP. Um, Obviously I still want to stay lean and somewhat dry while packing on size, so obviously that's even more ideal. So if I were running again, obviously I'm so much more locked in on my diet, on my hydration, just literally on, sorry, my client, literally on everything. So I'd reap the benefits so much more, even if I were to take Deca. But still, obviously I run MVP, and for that reason, I'll just put it in B, just because it can be it's really not like crazy side effects. You can get high blood pressure. You can get like it can be a little cardiovascular strainy, especially if you run higher dosages. But that's why you get blood work. I didn't even get blood work. Thank God I was okay. But I'll put no. I'll put Deca. Sorry. I'll put Deca in D, just because it takes so long to fucking kick in. You can get Decadick, and if you run into even if you run into like Decadick, bro, imagine like people Decadick, like people can be horny on Decadick, and they still can't get hard. It's that fucked. So if you run into Decadick and you still try to deal with it on cycle, or you just try to drop it and say fuck you, you drop it because you got Decadick, it's gonna be in your system for at least a few weeks. It fucking Godspeed if it's a few months. You can't get hard for a few months. So if you have a girlfriend, good fucking luck, dude. But again, MPP, I guess you bypass Decadick, which is awesome. Less watery, in and out of your system. So if you run into like a prolactin related side, you want to drop it, you don't want to deal with it, you don't want to get some caber, some P5P, you don't want to deal with it, maybe just drop it. It's out of your system within a few days. Awesome. So in that case, I definitely have to put in B compound, especially if I want to run it again. And I brought up Masteron in a bulk, because a lot of people run Masteron in bulking phases to stay dry, to reduce any type of water retention. And I've seen a lot of people run Masteron with NPP and test, which honestly, I was like, that's kind of genius, because again, Masteron is still somewhat anabolic and still help build tissue while drying you out with the androgenicity of it. So that's pretty sick. So honestly, maybe if I wanted like an actual cycle again, it'd be like test mass and MPP. The MPP just to build some mass, some very anabolic compound nandrolone is, and then just some mass for the androgenicity. I like feeling like having high free test, and again it can keep you dry. Again, this is just speculation. Again, I just started master. I never run MPP. I've run Deca. Never run MPP though. But yeah, this is steroid compound list. Primo S. Just wait. No, what is that? No, it's test. Sorry. Most things are in B. We got Winstrel in C, and then Halo, Tren, and Deca in D. Nothing in F. So again, I've only taken 4 compounds, so take most of what I said with a grain of salt. But still, I still said some valuable information, which is kind of just some of it's common knowledge, just information that I've dived into the past few months, just about anabolics in general and just my information on it. So again, you could probably take something away from it, even from the compounds I haven't run, but I'm not telling you to run those compounds, especially since I haven't run it. Right, but I mean, I'm not. I'm also not telling you not to run it, as long as you do it safely, right? I don't want to be like that weird. I'm not promoting it. I'm just literally just like I'm just telling you what's in my head, especially what I've run with my experience with what I've run. So that's definitely more valuable, right? But again, this is my tier list overall. I'm missing a few compounds. I'm trying to think the compounds I left out. Like nothing. Like I mean, I left D-ball out. Fuck D-ball. There's like a super draw and a draw. I'm not too. I'm not. Those are the compounds I'm not super like educated on. I'm more educated on these compounds. Like D-ball, Anadrol, super draw. I'm not very educated on that. I know more about these compounds than pretty much anything else. But yeah. How long was this fucking video, dude? I was gonna make another tier list video. I forget. Oh, it was exercises. I'm gonna do that next. My computer's really slow right now. I'm sorry. I hope it's not even fucking loading. Okay, there we go. How long was this? 27 minutes. 28. Nice. Okay. So this should be a fairly good video. And equipoise. I pronounce, was it hematocrit? I think it's hematocrit. When your hematocrit can get too high or whatever the fuck, which can lead to thick blood. And obviously thick blood, high blood pressure. That's not good. So you want to deal with that. There's just plenty of supplements, ancillaries you can take, and also just basic shit, good habits, hydration, cardio, blah blah blah. Was it hematocrit? I can't pronounce it, or I think it's a hematocrit in the video, but hematocrit, whatever. Again, never take equipoise. I've never taken equipoise, but yeah, that's my This is my some of my steroid knowledge. If you guys are interested, I hope I was able to educate some of you guys a little bit and just if you end up taking some type of steroid, obviously just start with a super low dose of testosterone. Like people, a lot of people suggest like first cycle 3 to 500 milligrams, bro. Like take 120. I take 120 right now, and I'm technically like on a cycle. It's more TRT plus, but like start with like 120 because again, I think I mentioned I forget I mentioned this in some video that like you could be a hyper responder. You could get insane test levels with just one TRT like super low TRT levels. Start with a 120 and 150, and then just get blood work and evaluate from there. You might have to take more, figure out if you're high aromatizer, maybe you're a super low aromatizer, which is fucking amazing. I wish, but yeah, just if you're gonna do this shit, just be safe, man. Because again, there's a lot of misconceptions about steroids in general, especially just testosterone. Because realistically, if you're gonna inject something, the only thing you really need is testosterone for just overall sense of well-being and obviously the gym side of it, but really the overall sense of well-being is why a lot of people just run it nowadays, just to feel like a man. Am I freezing? Holy shit, I'm freezing. I hate this computer. Anyways, yeah, this is all I got for you. I want to get to right to the 30-minute mark. It's at 29:48. So we're gonna get to that 30-minute mark. Thank you guys for supporting me. It's freezing again. I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm literally gonna lose my shit. Whatever. Code Zay, Gaspar Nutrition code Logan 15. American Peptides. Peace out.